I left my wedding ring on the table, emptied the accounts, and vanished. I don't know how she'll feel when she finds out, and honestly, I don't care. Now, I live in the woods, far from the lies and betrayals that poison my life. For the first time in years, I feel alive. Before I get into how it all happened, make sure to like and subscribe. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss this. I used to think I had it all figured out. A steady life, a loving wife, and a business we built together from the ground up. Running a small events management company wasn't always easy, but it was ours, and that made every challenge worth it. I handled the logistics and finances, keeping everything organized and on track, while Isabella, my wife, was the creative force behind it all. She had a gift for turning ideas into something magical, and clients loved her for it. Isabella wasn't just my business partner. She was my partner in everything. When we started the business, I remember thinking how lucky I was to have her. I trusted her completely, and I loved her deeply. We were busy, but it felt like we were building something solid, not just a business, but a life. I never questioned her loyalty. Not once. I mean, why would I? She was my wife, my best friend, my partner in every sense of the word. I thought we had the kind of bond that nothing could break. Trust was the foundation of everything we'd built, and I believed it was unshakable. Looking back, I wonder if I was blind. Maybe I ignored the little signs because I didn't want to see them. Or maybe for a while, everything really was as perfect as I thought it was. All I know is that back then, I believed in us. Completely. There was this one number that kept calling her. At first, I didn't think much of it, but then I noticed something odd. Whenever the call came in, she'd either decline it or pick it up and walk to another room. One evening, I asked her, "Who's calling so often?" She barely looked at me and said, "Just a client." That was it. No hesitation, no explanation, like it was the most normal thing. But the calls didn't stop, and something about the way she acted kept bothering me. What kind of client calls at 9 or 10 at night? And why did she always leave the room to talk? It didn't add up. About a week later, I finally had the chance to check her phone. She'd fallen asleep while scrolling through it. I shouldn't have done it, I know that, but I needed to understand what was going on. What I saw confirmed everything. There were messages between her and the person she called a client. Long conversations, photos, and things you don't say to someone unless they're more than just business. You know, when I found out about her affair, I thought that was it, the worst thing I could ever face. It felt like someone had ripped my chest open and stuffed it with ice. I didn't yell, didn't break anything. I just sat there, staring at the proof. At first, I didn't know what to do. Should I confront her? Scream? Pack my bags and leave right away? But none of those options felt right. Confrontation would lead to excuses and lies, and honestly, I didn't want to see her pretend to be sorry. I decided to sit on it for a while, think it through, and figure out my next move. But then life threw me a curveball, one I didn't see coming. A couple of weeks after I found out, I went to the doctor. I'd been feeling off for months, tired all the time, losing weight without trying, and this dull ache in my chest that wouldn't go away. I figured it was just stress, or maybe I needed to start exercising more. But when the test results came back, the doctor sat me down and told me I had a terminal illness. 2 years, maybe 5 if I was lucky. And let me tell you, that news hits like a truck. Everything in your life, everything you thought was important, gets flipped upside down in seconds. I didn't hear much after he said, "There's no cure." My mind just froze. There is no cure, just a countdown to the end. The funny thing is, I wasn't even scared. That diagnosis changed everything. When you know the clock's ticking, the somethings don't matter anymore. One thing was crystal clear. I didn't want to spend the last year of my life pretending everything was fine with her. No way. I wasn't going to sit across the dinner table every night, faking a smile while she texted someone else under the table. I wasn't going to sit there and wait for her to end things on her terms. I wanted out, but I wanted to do it on my own terms. Here's the thing, dying gives you a kind of clarity. You stop worrying about what people will think about the right way to handle things. You start asking yourself, what do I really want? And what I wanted was freedom, from her, from the lies, from all the fake smiles. That's when I started putting the plan together. The first thing I did was start pulling money out of our joint accounts. Not all at once. No, that would have been too obvious. I made it look natural. Small amounts here and there. Nothing she'd question, if she ever bothered to check. Over a few weeks, I siphoned enough to set myself up somewhere far away. Not enough to leave her penniless at the moment. The last batch will be after I disappear. I wanted her to feel the weight of what she'd done. Next was the business. We built it together. But if she could betray me in our marriage, how could I trust her to be honest in the business? I didn't want to ruin everything at once. That would have been too easy to trace. Instead, I started small, working behind the scenes where she'd never think to look. I knew our business accounts like the back of my hand, every client payment, every expense. So, I set up a private account, one she didn't know existed, and slowly began diverting funds. I started with small transfers. A client would pay us, and instead of the money going into our joint business account, I'd reroute a portion into my personal account. Just a little here and there, enough to build a cushion for myself, but not enough to raise any alarms. What made it so easy was her distraction. She didn't question the missing money because she wasn't paying attention. Her mind was elsewhere, probably with him. While I was dismantling everything we shared, I was quietly preparing to vanish. I sold off a few personal items, things she wouldn't miss, so I could pack light. I researched places where no one would think to look for me, places where I could start fresh, off the grid, far from her lies and the mess we'd made together. I didn't leave a trail. No breadcrumbs, no hints. Just me and a plan that I knew she'd never see coming. By the time I was done, I wasn't just walking away from her. I was erasing myself from the life we built. I know what you're thinking. Was it cruel? Maybe. But you've got to understand, I was done with her, done with us. And when you're dying, you don't have time to waste on the right way to break things off. So, I did what I had to do. And honestly, I don't regret a second of it. Not then, not now. I remember the last morning in that house like it was yesterday. I sat on the edge of the bed for a long time, staring at the wall, trying to soak in every little detail. She was still asleep when I walked past the bedroom. I went into the kitchen and placed my wedding ring on the table. It wasn't an emotional gesture, not like in the movies where someone sheds a tear and walks away dramatically. Leaving it, there was my way of saying, I'm done. No yelling, no goodbye notes, just the ring. I didn't pack much, just a backpack with a few clothes, some basic supplies, and my old journal. When I drove off, that was it. No turning back. I already arranged before that day for a small cabin, tucked away from everything. It's nothing fancy, just a wooden box with a bed, a table, and a stove. But it's mine, and it's enough. I wake up to the sun streaming through the windows and go to sleep with the sound of crickets. There's no Wi-Fi, no notifications, no endless buzzing of the phone. It's just me, the woods, and my thoughts. I've met a few people out here, too. There's Jack, a gruff old guy who used to be a lawyer. He doesn't talk much about why he left, but you can tell he's running from something. Then there's Maria, who's younger than me. She said she came here to escape a world that made her feel invisible. Each of them has their reasons for leaving everything behind, and in a strange way, it makes you feel like you belong. But even with all this peace in the days and weeks that followed, there are scars you can't run away from. Sometimes, her face pops into my mind. I wonder if she's doing okay. Has she moved on? Does she think about me? And then, just as quickly, I push those thoughts away. Sometimes, I catch myself wondering, did she check the bank accounts first? Or did she call me, only to realize I'd already wiped my number, my email, and every trace of myself from her life? I wonder if she's angry or she wasn't. What if she was relieved? That possibility stings more than I'd like to admit. What if she was already planning her escape, just waiting for the right moment to tell me she was done? Maybe, In some twisted way, I did her a favor by leaving first. It's a thought I try not to dwell on. I don't know if she ever tried to find me. Other times I think she probably didn't look at all. Maybe she told herself I wasn't worth the effort. And yet, I also wonder, has she ever looked at the wedding ring I left behind and felt even a flicker of regret? Does she wish she'd done things differently? Or has she simply moved on like I never existed? I'll never know. And maybe that's for the best. The woods have given me a kind of freedom I didn't know I needed. It's not perfect. I'm not going to pretend I don't miss some parts of my old life. But out here, I'm not pretending anymore. I'm just living one day at a time. Love. Though that's the hardest part to untangle. I loved her once. I really did. And maybe that's why it hurts so much. You can't betray someone you don't care about, right? And sometimes, love just isn't enough. Out here, in the woods, it's different. Life feels stripped down to the basics. There's no pretending. No one lies to you. And you don't have to lie to yourself either. The trees don't care about your past. The river doesn't ask you who you've hurt. It just keeps flowing. And I guess that's what I've been trying to do, keep flowing, keep moving, even when my body starts telling me it's running out of time. I traded comfort for peace. I gave up a bed and a house for this open sky. And I'd make the same choice again. Freedom, it's not what I thought it would be. Freedom, for me, was stepping away from the life I thought I needed and finding something simpler, something honest. Death, in a weird way, felt like freedom. Before all this, before the affair, the diagnosis, the lies, I thought death was the worst thing that could happen to a person. I'd imagine it sometimes, late at night, and feel this cold dread settle over me. I used to think about what I'd leave behind. Unfinished work, unspoken words, people who'd miss me. But now I see it differently. I don't feel sorry for myself. That surprises people when I tell them. They expect tears, anger, and regret. But what's the point? Regret won't change anything. Anger won't give me more time. All I can do is live what's left of my life on my own terms, no compromises. You know, I've told you my story, but let me turn it around for a second. Imagine this was your life. Imagine sitting across from the person you love most in the world, the one you trusted completely, and finding out they've been lying to you. You notice the little things first, the way they smile at their phone, the way their excuses don't quite add up. And then, one night, when they're asleep, you finally find the proof. It's right there in your hands, messages, photos, things they never meant for you to see. Now what? Do you stay? Do you confront them and demand answers, knowing the lies might hurt even more than the betrayal? Or do you walk away, cutting your losses, and try to salvage what's left of your pride and sanity? Let's say you decide to stay for the kids, for the business, for the history you share. Can you honestly sit across from them at the dinner table every night pretending you don't know? Can you keep smiling while they carry on, thinking they've gotten away with it? Or would the weight of the betrayal crush you little by little, until there's nothing left of the person you used to be? Now let's flip it. What if you leave? What if you pack up your life and disappear? No explanations, no final words. You take the time to plan it, make it hurt just enough for them to feel the consequences of what they've done. But then you walk away. Would that be freedom? Or would the bitterness follow you, even as you tried to build a new life? I don't know if my way was the right way. Maybe it was selfish. Maybe it was cowardly. Or maybe it was the only way I could survive. What would you have done? Could you stay and face them, knowing everything's broken? Or would you do what I did? Cut ties and start over no matter the cost? There's no easy answer, and maybe there never will be. But that's life, isn't it? Messy, complicated, and full of choices we can't take back. So tell me, what would you do?